Welcome back to the Fan Speak Network and another episode of the NFL Betting Card Live. This episode is super exciting because we are focusing on the Thanksgiving 3-game slate to talk about every angle we like on the betting card. And of course, I'm joined by Astaire Tyler Hicks each and every Thursday usually to talk through it. But since the holiday is on Thursday, we're doing this early so we can get these Turkey Day bets in. And then after we talk through our Thanksgiving bets that we like, then we'll take a quick peek at the early week 12. And then you'll have to come back and check out the NFL betting card later, of course, to see what we're really zoning in on, and X marks the spot. Of course, check out fanspeak.com, NFL betting card there on homepage, sports betting tab. You can see the NFL treasure map, see how they get there. Check that all out. So I have to go to Tyler first on this one. Tyler, it is a beautiful day in Pittsburgh. And even though I'm not a Steelers fan like you, I am holding plenty of Pittsburgh best ball shares. So the fact that Matt Canada is fired, it's a beautiful day for me. How are you feeling? How are you even able to do content? You must be just losing your mind right now.
Yeah, it's a great day in Pittsburgh. I mean, it's been raining all morning, but in the end, it's been sunny because they finally fired Matt Canada. I mean, at what point was it too much for them to just keep him, Meg? When the local supermarkets were selling cookie cakes that had icing that said "Fire Matt Canada," when the Penguins games broke out in chants of "Fire Matt Canada,"
that's amazing.
When there were chants in other stadiums for other football games that were chanting "Fire Matt Canada," like the offense was bad. Now, one of two reasons why it was bad is gone. Next up is Kenny Pickett because that guy stinks. And there ain't a quarterback in that room that wouldn't be ranked bottom 3, maybe even just bottom 2 in the entire league if they were our starter. Between him, Mason Rudolph, and Mitch Trubisky. Go out, draft me a guy, get me someone. I don't care who it is, just not those 3.
Okay. All right. I'm under the camp. I'm not fully aligned there. I was fully aligned on the Fire Matt Canada. I'm under the camp of draft someone, make Pickett compete next year, but give him one more year to compete with.
Hell, I'll take Mac Jones at this point.
Oh my God. Watch what you be careful what you wish for.
I mean, at least you'd give, we seen Mac Jones with weapons in college look good. And now we can give him some weapons in Pittsburgh. I'd take Mac Jones over Kenny Pickett.
No, Tyler, you don't mean that.
I mean, I've seen Mac Jones throw for 200 plus and multiple touchdowns. I mean, Pickett can't even throw for 200.
Let's just see with the new offensive coordinator, the power of a good coordinator. But totally agree. Draft somebody, make them compete, or I don't know what the actually free agent market is.
Just tell him he's got 6 weeks or however many weeks we got left to keep his job. New guys on the way in for next year.
But bottom line is, you are so happy today, like you said. All of Pittsburgh was chanting for this for a very long time. But I mean, didn't Big Ben go on his podcast this week and basically publicly say he's got to go too?
Yeah, I mean, he talked about Pickett too. I mean, Pickett had that one throw where he loaded up and threw it deep. And there's a clip from that podcast of Ben's where they're like, "Oh, Pickett's loaded up, he's going deep," and there was no one there. Where was he throwing that ball to? That was Ben's exact words, where was that ball going to? I have no idea what's wrong with this guy. I think Ben Roethlisberger realizes that.
So you think he's had enough of Pickett too? Yeah. Okay. I mean, my favorite thing of the Mac
there's I play this weight game with those two, Meg. Was it the system was just that bad, or was it behind practice doors? System needed to be dumbed down even more because this guy can't do anything even in practice with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do never know. And now is when, next year with a fully new implemented system and new offensive coordinators, when you'd really find out. But again, he'd have to compete for it. But I get your frustrations. It has been ugly. Listen, as someone who holds a lot of Kenny Pickett best ball shares and not proud to admit that as my second or third quarterback, it's been brutal. So, I'm not expecting a major change, but I do hope the release of Canada helps guys like Pickens and Deontay and maybe even Najee, get a little more action. We'll see. Anyways, it's a glorious day for you, Tyler, and I'm happy for you. So, because I know how tilting it is. I want Jack Del Rio gone. I'm sure Dallas is going to put up, and we'll get to that, about 40 plus. And hopefully Jack Del Rio is joining Matt Canada on Friday. Spread, what do you think of all this chatter? And how are you doing? You ready to talk some Thanksgiving?
How did Del Rio catch slander here? Del Rio, a Northern California guy, a guy who was unfairly treated by Mark Davis and forced to announce his own firing.
Because
you're right, he sucks, but he's a good guy. The game's passed him by. Okay, I actually like Jack Del Rio.
Okay, that's fine.
I have a soft spot for him.
And I get that.
But he should be the old guy that the young guys ask for advice, right? Okay. The consultant. Okay. Can I go back to what Tyler's saying?
Yes, please. I want your opinion on this too.
I don't know if any offensive coordinator can make Kenny Pickett good. Kenny Pickett was a 4th-round talent that got picked in the 1st round. And I said this when we were off the air. Watch him. He can't create anything when the actual play doesn't move down. He's not athletic enough to even avoid the 300-pound defensive linemen when they get pressure. You know what, Meg? It's really sad because none of us on this panel are parents, are we? You're not, Meg, that I know of, right?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But we do know that there's lies that parents tell their children, right? Mm-hmm. They say, you can be whatever you want if you try hard enough, right? But let's be honest, I'm never going to be an NBA player. I can barely touch the net when I jump, okay? Right. So Kenny Pickett, we're sorry. We know you tried hard, right? But it's just not meant to be. You just don't have the athletic traits needed to be a leader in the NFL.
You think someone's lied to him and says,
Fred, you're telling me you couldn't grab the rim in your younger days? If you could only touch
I could touch the rim. That was it. I could just touch it.
I could grab the rim. If you could only touch net, then you have no hops.
Right now, I can only touch net.
I know that. That's why I was like, back in the day, if you were only able to.
Back in the day, I think I got a tennis ball down. I couldn't even do it. My dad used to be like, I could dunk a volleyball when I was your age, and I never could. I think I got a tennis ball down maybe once. My point is, he's just simply not athletic enough. Since he knows whatever the system and how Tomlin likes things. And the other thing, why you said Mac Jones, Tyler, Mac Jones is hated in the locker room. At least his teammates like Pickett. Yeah. I think that he takes responsibility.
Sure they like him?
I think they do.
It seems
they seem to rally around him.
I mean, there were some words coming out of the locker room after this past game. It didn't sound too good.
From who?
Najee Harris made some comments. Deontay Johnson had to be separated from guys.
Call Najee Harris Peter North with how much he's a bust. Unbelievable.
I mean,
how could he even criticize?
I mean, it's the same. He's getting the same slack Zeke got when Tony Pollard sat behind him.
That'll be like if I gave a losing pick and then you gave a losing pick and then I tried to blame you.
Come back to all the Najee hate next year when he's gone.
Let's just say I lose my best bet and you lose your best bet, and then I go to the media and I go, it's Tyler's fault that we suck. You'd be like, your best bet lost too, buddy.
Yeah. Wait, is this Najee's last year there? Is this
No, he'll get the extension, won't he?
I don't know.
Okay, I couldn't know what year he was in. I couldn't remember.
I mean, let's be honest. He's not the player that we had hoped. They ran him into the ground in Alabama. He doesn't have a burst anymore.
He's not.
He looks like a 29-year-old already, right? Who's another one that looks kind of old now? Dalvin Cook, right?
Austin
that's how Najee Harris looks to me.
Running like a fullback on Sunday.
Who does?
Austin Eckler was running like a fullback.
I know. Oh my god! And I need him so much for basketball. I'm like, come on, but
so
I think he's just playing.
I think he's done too.
Done? Don't you think he's just playing through multiple injuries?
Yeah, but I think it's just going to keep getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
You never come back from these things the same.
I know. Well, if he could.
I mean, running back fall-offs are ridiculous. Like, remember
sad.
Chris Johnson?
Yeah, that's true.
Remember how good he was? And he was like 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was just like he looked normal.
No, the stints, or you're right. Like the breakouts of running backs are so small usually, and that's why
like Adrian Peterson, Frank Gore, like these players were so crazy because they're just like you're actually good over 30, like unbelievable. I didn't even know that could happen.
Yeah, right. And I mean, and with Tony Pollard, that's just wild. It was like give him the chance, get Zeke out of there, and it's like then they give him.
That's why I was talking to my buddy Will about that, and I was saying this is where fantasy we can take advantage of it as bettors. Because fantasy skews everybody's view of it, right? So they
Right.
see Pollard ripping off all those runs and they go, oh, Pollard's better than Zeke. Pollard's better than Zeke. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? It's easier to rip off those runs when you got a 250-pound bowling ball softening you up for a quarter before you get in the game, and then it's a complete change of pace. When you're the main guy, it's not the same reason. And the Cowboys have figured it out now, but I still stand by the contention that their red zone problems early in the season was from the fact that they didn't have even the threat of Zeke in there.
Mhm.
And they knew, like, hey, we don't need to stack the box to stop Pollard, right? Like, he doesn't carry 2 or 3 tacklers into the end zone like Zeke does. Now, all of a sudden, we can play a normal base defense, sit all our guys in zone, and we know how hard that is to pick aside the red zone. This is why these quarterbacks move the ball from the 20s to 20s, and they all stall out in the red zone, because even when you played Madden, you saw this, right? All your zones overlap down there in the end zone, right? Whereas on a 60-yard field, these zones have big holes. So, but I'm rambling here, but you finally gave me my chance to talk. Good for you, Tyler. I'm glad Canada's gone. You're having a great quarterback next season. You still have the best coach in the NFL. But Meg, we're not going to be done until we talk about the disappointment.
No,
in
let's
the greater
go on
area
to
that you live in. No, I have to know how you're responding to this.
I mean, that was incredibly painful and depressing and sad and just.
But you can't give up, right? You just chalk it up to a bad week and you move on, right? I mean, JC would move Howell down 10 points in his rankings.
I'm not giving up on Howell. I'm just getting like the team as like, as far as like, we're going to get into in a minute, but like the NFC, like had they won, the Vikings lost, and who was the other? And Seattle lost, right? So had they won, Washington would have been 1 game back out of the playoff contention. And yes, the rest of their schedule is hard, but I'd have to look at the Vikings and Seattle schedules.
In the end, though, Meg, wouldn't you rather have a better draft pick than sneak in and play the Lions or the Niners and just get pounded?
I'd have to see how much like the draft pick would jump. Like is it jumping from, what's the last playoff team? I'm trying to think. Would that be like 20?
Yeah, it's like right around like 20. Okay,
2021 to like, are we going to go all the way up to like 10? I don't think we're going to get that high. Like if we, is it that much? Because listen, my brother's done the tank for draft picks for years, but like, I think when you're close enough, you want to like have the good mojo and that kind of stuff. But I think, little Rivera's a lame duck.
As of right now, you guys got 7.
Yeah. Okay.
I would be fine. Like where you're at 7, like don't get me wrong. He's got the weapons on offense. You're going to grab a stud offensive lineman to block for him.
That is true.
You're going to get a good second round guy because you're picking early in the second. Like,
and we have
I don't think you want to.
And we have the Bears, so we'll have like the 35th or 36th.
I don't think you want to overachieve with the team they have built right now. Like you have bright spots. Like you got the quarterback. You got the weapons on offense. You got a running back. He's not the best, but he does the job. And there's him, Gibson, and Rodriguez. They got to build him an offensive line, though, and they got to rebuild the defense. So
exactly.
Get the draft picks now while he's still on the rookie contract, and then you can go spend some money. So
I agree. To answer Spread's you make all good points, and I'm sure Steve agrees with you in the chat. To answer Spread's question, it's just embarrassing to lose to one of the worst teams in the NFL. It's embarrassing to lose to Danny or whatever the fuck his name is. Tommy DeVito or whatever. I don't even know. It's just embarrassing and sad and demoralizing and all those like depressing adjectives. And it just makes you, insert any depressing adjective. It's just that, right? But like I haven't wavered on how anything like that. Listen, I said this year, if I got the new ownership and knew I had a quarterback, I'd be happy. I got him. I think I have that check.
Now, I think you're 1.5.
Yeah. I think
we're not sure on how yet.
I got owner.
He's the best quarterback coming out of draft class. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly. He's sure as shit as
but
that.
Was he the
he's with the Pickett
COVID
class.
Year?
No,
he's in the Pickett class.
He's in the Pickett class. He was 22.
Who else is in that class? That Tyler.
Nobody. Like Malik Willis.
It's Sam Howell, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett,
Desmond Ritter.
There's one other guy. Yeah,
Desmond Ritter, and that backup guy for Panthers, Steve.
Matt Corral.
Yes, correct.
And hasn't played at all yet.
He hasn't played at all. Yeah. He's the best one in that class. But anyways, if we can get a 5th round steal and play him on a rookie deal, then you have a lot to build around, to Tyler's point. So yeah, it was super depressing, demoralizing. But again, I need to keep remembering what I said going into the season. Get a new owner, check. Find out you have a quarterback, check. Now we need to figure out the coaching staff situation. I'm fine with Bieniemy being promoted. I think keep him and Howe together.
Because I was going to ask you, after watching the Las Vegas Raiders move to 3-0 against the spread, don't you want a coach from Compton?
No.
I can find another one for you, Meg. Did you see the excitement on that sideline?
Steve's in the
see that way that team is fighting?
He's got a very good point about about Sam Howell being the best quarterback in that draft class.
Oh, whoops.
Forget about that guy.
We take it back.
But I mean,
for those just listening, he said Brock Purdy.
In the end, I still say system over everything over in San Fran because everybody.
I don't know, dude. He's good.
He's looking good. He looks good.
I think he's the best that's played in that system. But I still think I lean system.
That's still pretty good if you're better than Jimmy G.
Whatever. They made out their game. Mr. Relevant is the guy there to in that system. He looks great. I think they're a Super Bowl contender. It's everything you'd want. But anyways, again, back to my point, depressed. And now, but I have a new owner, have a new quarterback. I just need them to figure out the coaching situation and I'll be all good. You're
good with Bieniemy?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm personally good with Bieniemy. I think it's so important. Like we talked about Josh Allen last week. I think it's so important for that offensive, and we talked about Reed and Mahomes. I think it's so important for that offensive coordinator quarterback to be so in sync. And I don't think it's good, especially for a young quarterback, to just keep cycling through OCs. And if you don't give Bieniemy the job, he'll eventually get a head coaching job somewhere else. So I personally, as long as internally he is good with the players are good with them, and all those things, I would just make Bieniemy the head coach and find a stud defensive coordinator, and off we go. We got our three pieces that I need. And then to Tyler's point, if we, do what we think we're probably going to do the rest of the season and do have a top 10 pick to your point, then yeah, you got a top 10 pick, get that stuff. You got to rebuild that offensive line. You got to rebuild that defense. Those are the two focuses. And if you can do those two things, you gained two nice assets. You have the Chicago pick at the 34th, 35th, it's going to be whatever, you too high. And then you have high picks, got it'll be a late third from 49ers. But anyways, yeah, we're in a position for a nice rebuild around Hal, and I like that part. So yeah, and I guess I can enjoy my Hal best ball shares and my Dak best ball shares this weekend. So I'll segue to that. But before we get to that, actually, we were talking about NFL playoffs a little bit, and just a quick peek, and then we were talking about MVP race. I started this conversation, and again, this will lead us into the Thanksgiving chatter, is if Dak balls out on Thanksgiving night, which he should, against Washington, obviously Tommy DeVito can, I believe Dak will. Everybody does. Washington makes everybody look amazing. And then Dak gets him two more times, Dak gets Washington this week and week 18, I believe. And then if they somehow won the NFC East, do you think Dak could win MVP? I do. And you can get him, I believe Tyler said it 30-1. Tyler, I'll let you go first because you brought up the 30-1.
Yeah, that 30-1's gone now, Meg. I checked DraftKings before we jump back on here. Because FanDuel had 16-1 last night before the Eagles game ended, and DraftKings had 30. The Eagles won, and now they're both hanging 15.
Oh, okay.
I think they're factoring that in too a little bit because they look at it and it's like, Dallas plays Philly again. They have an easy schedule outside of that. If he beats Hurts, he catapults himself up into that category.
Yeah.
And there's about 3 or 4 guys that are in that category right now.
Right.
So his name could easily be in that lump of them. And if Mahomes just kind of keeps doing what he's doing and they don't score any points in second halves, I don't see him winning the award.
No, sure didn't look like an MVP last night.
I don't see San Fran, Brock Purdy getting it because everyone will just argue CMC should get it instead.
Right.
It's going to come down to the likes of Hurts, Dak, Lamar, and if Mahomes goes crazy at the end of the season.
What about, I'll throw out one other you mentioned Purdy as a dark horse, but I agree, the whole CMC thing, I think the same argument would go for what I'm about to say. What if Tua just went insane the rest of the season and they won the AFC East?
It would
I think
vomit.
I mean, I think maybe
it's the case about the whole.
He's
Tyreek
up there in
Hill thing.
odds, but yeah, that's the thing is you'll have the argument of Tyreek Hill.
Anyone who put Tua above Tyreek Hill should lose their ability to vote.
I legit think let me just pull back up these odds on FanDuel.
I was gonna say, what's Tua's got to be?
I think Tua is
there.
around
A little,
I believe
right
he was
under
60. He's 5. The way the order goes on FanDuel: Hurts plus 250, Lamar plus 420, Mahomes plus 460, Tua 5-1, Dak and Purdy 15-1, CJ Stroud and Josh Allen 18-1.
Okay, then I think Dak is the best bet on the board then at 15-1 because I think he's the most realistic to your point about Tua not getting it, even if they do have a strong end.
Yeah, that's the only guy I think that can make a push outside of these late guys. In the end, though, if Philly just wins games, that award is going to be Hurts because he's going to score touchdowns.
I mean, I'd love for you to win your bet, Tyler, but that would just Philly if they only lose a game or two. I'll barf. They have 3 hard, really difficult games coming up, and I'm. Tyreek, or we got Clyde in chat. We got perfect rotation in chat. We got Steve in chat. Thank you. Clyde says he's got Tyreek to win.
The only problem with a wide receiver winning the MVP, I'm not sure it ever happened. I can tell you it happened in the last 23 years. The only guy outside of a quarterback to win the MVP was AP.
It's had to have happened. I'm gonna
not
as far as a receiver.
It's becoming.
What year did AP win it?
The year
I would think Jerry Rice might have won it one year.
Yeah.
So it's a quarterback award now,
which is stupid.
Yeah, they need to redo these awards. They need to make a quarterback award and then have an MVP award so they could do this differently. But
yeah.
I think Hurts gets it in the end.
Yeah, because to your point, I mean, I think if somehow Miami ended up the 1 seed and the 49ers ended up the 1 seed, I think you could absolutely make a case for it's because of Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill.
To counter Steve's point here, he says, well, it's the same argument as AP. If you had a record-setting year, you have a chance. I agree you should, but your quarterback's already 5-1 to win the MVP. If you have the record-breaking year, he throws for close to 5,000 yards and all these touchdowns.
He's going to have all the numbers, too.
But anyone who watches the games know that it's Tyreek making everything happen.
I agree with both Ians, but when the awards show happens after the season, they're going to have an MVP award in this hand, and they're going to have an offensive player award in this hand. The offensive player award is going to be handed to Tyreek, and the MVP would be handed to Tua. That's how.
So, Meg, I wasn't laughing at what you said. I was laughing because when I looked this up, I realized that a wide receiver has never won the MVP award, but a place kicker has. In 1982, a kicker won the MVP.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Who was it? There's no way I could get it.
Mark Mosley.
That's our kicker. Oh my God. I played softball with his daughter. No way. he lived in obviously he lived in Northern Virginia. I grew up in Northern Virginia. Yeah, I played against her in high school. Yeah.
Steve knew that. I didn't know that. That's why I wasn't laughing at your breakdown because I was Googling that and it was the article came up and it was
no way.
Surprisingly, a wide receiver has never won, but a kicker has. And I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Oh, Mark Mosley still goes to all the Washington homecoming games. Love him.
Well, now you have something to talk to him about.
Love it. That's wonderful.
You can ask her. You can be like, hey, do you ever see your dad's MVP award?
We're not still friends. I played her once when I was in high school.
Oh, you weren't on the same team? You played against her?
No. I wasn't friends with her. We were opposite high schools.
So you were rivals.
We were rival high schools.
Looking back on just because this is, I think this MVP voting, if it does say if the Tua and Tyreek thing does happen, they go bonkers in the year. I think their voting would go down similar to Brady and Moss that year.
Oh,
Brady had 98% of the votes to win MVP. The other 2% went to Brett Favre. Randy Moss didn't even get a vote. Jeez. And Randy Moss posted 1,500 yards and 23 touchdowns.
I mean, if Miami gets
at the same time, Brady was kind of established at that point, though, right? And they kind of knew that Moss was going into this high-powered offense. And then anyone who watched him as a Raider would know, anyone who ever says he's the greatest of all time, it's watch him quit on all those routes as a Raider.
He didn't want to be a Raider in the first place.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you can't be like, there's plenty of people that don't want to be out there and that try hard.
Yeah. You know how that goes.
All right. Anything we could talk about this all day, but we have got some Turkey Day stuff to talk about. Any other Week 11 thoughts besides my depressing Washington loss? I
just had to know, Meg, what you think of those Raiders 3-0 against the spread. How excited were you for me?
I love the pivot away from 2-0. We win games to we're covering spreads now.
Covering spreads.
We lost the game.
Yeah.
But everybody picked us not to cover. I mean, that's another thing. Who did you know besides us people wearing Raiders gear? They had the +14 in our pocket. And it opened at like 9 or 10. I mean, that's how far this line moved.
Okay. To that point, though, spread, can I give you my beef on that situation? Happy for your covering the spread, and your guy from Compton.
I'm actually confused about this. What could you have beef about? This beautiful.
That Josh Jacobs prop. Why did they only run him like 12 times in a 1-score game? I thought they were going to ride him just like we talked about on Thursday. I thought they were going to feed him 20 times, try to get him to that century mark. What happened? I didn't watch the game. I was at the Washington bar, watched the Washington game. Then,
AOC was trying to establish that 27th rank spread gave him in the quarterback rank.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my. Okay. Well, but no. Why did they not? Why did he not give more carries? They just went a little past.
I have no idea. Yeah. That's the only bad thing about being in the sports book is I had 8 games on at the same time.
Same. Yeah.
I had most of my focus on the Steelers. There's a couple old guys in Steelers next to me, and I kept saying like, "Your quarterback sucks, bro." And the Lions, obviously, I mean, that took all of our attention. That was a fun comeback. So I didn't have as much. I mean, obviously, I was watching, but as far as analyzing the game plan, it wasn't like a normal Sunday.
Yeah,
where I might have just had it on one TV and Red Zone on the other.
Right.
So I can't give you a good answer.
That's my beef because I had that prop that I felt so good about. And I was like, well, it even broke my way that the game stayed close enough. How did he not get there? But so that's my only beef on that one.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. I'm trying to think. He was definitely running.
He only had like 12 carries, I think. It's something along that line. It was definitely under 15
maybe this
carries.
was just a week where they looked at it and they were like, we've ran you straight into the dirt 3 weeks in a row. Like, let's ease the load before he dies.
Maybe that's it. They knew Megan Shaw was betting on.
Wasn't the best pass defense. Like Devontae could get open.
That's true. They did get Devontae going, which is nice. Always nice to see too.
Nothing was better than watching him grab the D back by his jersey, throw him on the ground, and catch the touchdown. The ref's just like, I didn't see any of that.
I mean, at this point,
why do you keep bringing that up?
It's just a funny play when you watch it back because he just like looks back at the DB while they're like,
what was the play?
He's just like, he just reaches back. He's like, get the fuck out of here and just throw.
I wish they wouldn't have called that on Surtain on Sunday Night Football. Did you see that one?
Yeah, that
was even better. Just throw the receiver to the ground and just grab the ball. And just
all right.
Like, if that happened in Thanksgiving football, like the game will be stopped for like 25 minutes while everyone argued about it. Yeah. Incidental contact, bro.
Any other Week 11 thoughts before we get into our Thanksgiving slate?
No, that's it.
I could take my little slight victory lap from last night on spread. Andy Reid off a bye, huh?
Dude, I was working last night and I watched it when I got home and I was doing my work. So I looked up, I said 17-7. I go, oh, once again, I'm right. And I put the phone back in my pocket and I didn't check. I only was checking NBA scores for the rest of the night. And I didn't even look at the NFL score. Yeah, and I finally looked at like 11:30 and I'm like, no way. I got to see what's going on here. So I ended up watching it back. What's going on with the second half? You would think. I mean,
they haven't scored in the second half in like 4 weeks. I didn't know it's been that long. They just shut off at halftime.
No, and the thing is, when you're betting on Reid, you're thinking the coaching and the adjustments. Although, to be fair, we had our own Quentin Johnston all over again, didn't we?
I mean,
my God.
Let's be real. We know all those guys suck. We knew it before the game.
Who was that one?
Oh,
MVS. He's known for dropping. How many Aaron Rodgers deep balls have we watched him drop over the years? Like, we know that's his shtick.
Like you said that
when that ball left Mahomes' hands, he was on a rope to the end zone. In my head, I was like, if I'm a Chiefs backer, you better pray to God that's how white guy's been catching passes all night because everybody else is dropping it. And sure as shit, it was MVS. hit him right in his hands, and he dropped it.
But speaking of, why was the game plan coming off the bye? Let's get Justin Watson 10 targets. Like, come on.
Because receivers kill Philly.
But then why not more Rashee Rice? He only had 52% route participation. Like,
well, they sent Slay Rashee Rice's way, and they bracketed Kelsey. So it was like, you're gonna beat us with these trash cans.
Okay, well, good defensive game plan there, because that definitely worked. Oh God, that was tilting, because listen, the Philly offense didn't look good either. They had like 3 good drives. I mean,
I swear they literally just do enough to just get by. Like they don't have that. Like when you watch them last year, they look like they were on a mission. Like they were one of the pound teams.
Yep.
He threw the ball a lot.
That happens though, right? As teams get accustomed to success, because now they're going to be judged on their playoffs, right? Yeah. The first year.
Well, a couple of factors. I have thoughts on this. I'll rattle them off. Number one, they had the easiest schedule in the world last year. Number two,
good point.
I brought it up before the season. They lost offensive and defensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator, I think, is a bigger loss than people are like noting, but I think that's why the offense has been bumpy this year. I wouldn't say it is as fun to watch, as high powered, anything. And Steve and I were talking about, they have won mostly, even against Washington twice, 1-score games. And a lot of bounces have gone their way, including, that was a great punch out on Kelsey, the Kelsey fumble yesterday, last night. In the Dallas game, Dak's decking out, the tight end being down at the half-inch line. There's all these game inches. Justin Jefferson goes out of the end zone in the Vikings game. I could keep going on. Terry McLaurin in overtime steps an inch out of bounds. Like, there are all these game of inches that have broken Eagles' way every single time. And at some point, if you're not rolling over teams, I'm just saying that that they are winning a lot of 1-score games, and it's not, their offense isn't as pretty or as dynamic as last year. It's just not. So,
do we think there's a chance that all of a sudden, as we get closer to playoffs, they flick a switch and it's like, oh, that offense was just in cruise control all year and now they're back?
No, I don't. I think it's just the loss of Steichen is bigger than any of us kind of baked in. And I think they've gotten lucky on injuries to health, but outside of Goddard, their offensive line has stayed fairly healthy. Their other weapons have stayed healthy. I think if their weapons stay healthy, I think they'll be fine. They're going to most likely win the NFC East, and we'll see if they get the 1 seed. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to go back to that juggernaut offense. I don't. Okay. But that's my opinion. I think the Steichen loss is way bigger than people. I also think Hurts has been playing banged up.
I think he's banged. Watching him run around, and it looks like he's playing with a weighted vest on. He looks like he's carrying around way more weight than he's used to when he moves.
It's actually shocking me that they are still doing the tush push.
The best way to describe last night when you watched him in the pocket, it looked like he was playing in mud.
Yeah,
I know they were on a
and
mud
did some of his
raining, but
it was. But did some of his throws not to seem to have zip, because of the knee? Maybe he's not being able to.
It's not like he's planning fully on that knee.
Exactly. Some of his throws, I'm I know that deep ball to Devonta was beautiful. Don't get me wrong, there were still some beautiful passes, but there were some throws that I'm like that one that almost got intercepted that they had to knock down because AJ Brown didn't block the guy right, and it could have been an easy pick six. There was just some throws that just didn't seem to have the zip on it that you normally see. So I just think there's some issues there too. And I don't think he's ever going to get fully healthy.
I wouldn't be surprised if once the season's over or they're eliminated at some point, that it comes out that he was playing with something torn all year and now he's going to have surgery.
Oh, 100%. 100%. He is playing banged up. I'm shocked they're still doing the tush push, because you're running him into a wall of 300-pound men and then just letting everybody fall on each other.
The wall just moves forward, Meg. It's not like the wall stays put. They just push everyone on the other side backwards.
Everybody else is a sustained injuries. I'm just saying, if some point, everybody's this play's unstoppable, it is. For the Eagles, it is unstoppable. And it's because of Hurts and that offensive line. We've gone over that. But if you sit here and listen, I would never wish injury on anybody, not Hurts, not anybody. I'm just saying, but if any week that he got injured on a tush push, would anybody be surprised? No, it's just, that's what Or
I mean,
sorry,
they almost broke Kenny Pickett's neck on Sunday trying to do a tush push. Like his helmet got ripped off. I think the biggest, like Hurts is a big key because he's a big quarterback. He's a strong.
yeah, that's part of it.
The
Sure,
biggest key on that tush push, it's got to be Jason Kelsey. The more I look at it,
it is Jason Kelsey. They broke it down on that Pat McAfee show.
How many guys can get in front of him and like? The guys that get hurt on tush pushes are when the offensive line gets stood up and now everyone's getting pushed into a wall that's just not moving.
Not right.
Not many guys push Jason Kelsey backwards, and then you get the extra force behind him. Everyone just falls forward. It happens every time.
Yeah, they broke it down on Pat McAfee.
You guys were the only ones to stop it, and they fumbled it. So it was like I was just amazed that they stopped the play once.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I believe it was John Daigle from 4 for 4 had an interesting stat before the season. Like when Mahomes like cracked his knee or hurt his kneecap that one like primetime game like 3 or 4 years ago, Kansas City does not run him inside intentionally. He'll scramble, but they do not do intentional runs with him. It's done like 5 times in 4 years because it's like so.
You ever watch Family Guy, Meg? This is the best description of how he runs.
I've watched on and off. I really.
You ever see the episode where they chase the buttered guy through the woods?
No.
Yeah, that's how Mahomes runs around. He runs around like the buttered guy from Family Guy in the woods. That's why he dislocated his knee because he was trying to tiptoe through there and they grabbed the hold of him and dragged him.
No, I think that was the whole. No, that was like a legit QB sneak, like almost like the tush push, but not the tush push.
Yeah,
I remember.
I think he just like he doesn't get his low to the ground as hard as does. Like when he's tush pushing, I feel like his helmet's in Kelsey's lower back, and he's just like, "We're going forward." And
you make a great point about Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey just absolutely anchors that thing, and that's a great point. Like so, anyways, but yeah, with all that said, I think Kelsey or Hurts is playing a little injured. I wonder if they're going to get the 1 seed. I really do. But it's going to come down in the next 3 games because they have a gauntlet next 3 games. And then they have easy rests away. So we'll see. All right. You guys ready to talk some Thanksgiving slate?
Kinda. Isn't this a crappy slate? I hate to be a Debbie Downer here.
No, you've got not for offense and stuff that we want to potentially see. You've got Detroit.
How about an even game?
Okay, so let me just quickly go one by one, and then we'll actually break down each game. But
okay, let's do it. I can't wait to hear this.
You got the Lions.
This is a tough sales job, Meg.
You got Lions.
I mean, if you pull me on this, we're sending you to Alaska to sell some Eskimos some snow because this is not. I'm not giving you an easy product to work with here.
Okay, well, first of all, they have 2 divisional matchups, so take what you want for that. One is a historic rivalry between Washington and Cowboys. But first game, you got Detroit in Ford Field. Hopefully we get some good offense there. People love offense. Second game, you've got one of the most, biggest rivalries on Thanksgiving and in general, Washington, Dallas. Take what you want for that. Again, we're going to see points. We're going to see yards. We're going to see fantasy stuff that sports bettors and fantasy football people love. The last game, that's rough, especially if Geno's out or playing injured. That's going to be tough. But, we got the 49ers and, they've been a juggernaut. They've been willing to just put up 30, doesn't care what the other team does. So I still think we're going to get some points that day. And that's obviously what the NFL has been lacking this year. And you give us Thanksgiving.
You know why they're lacking points? Because these teams don't realize they have field goal kickers.
Well, that's true too. That's another point. There's so many reasons why I think we've identified them throughout this year during this show multiple times, but that is another good point as to why we are lacking points. Yeah.
There's so many games. What was the game that we watched? Oh, the Arizona game against the Texans. They go for it on 4th and 5. They don't get it. Then they go down again. They go for it again. They don't get it. Then guess what? On that 3rd drive, they wouldn't have needed a touchdown. They could have just gone down there for a field goal. It frustrates me how many these guys leave points on the board, and this is why these totals keep sinking. And people are blaming the lack of offense. But watch these games. These teams are moving up and down the field.
Yeah.
It's because their coaches, they just think that you need a touchdown to win. Hey, if you're playing Kansas City back when they had Tyreek Hill, it was kind of stupid to settle for a field goal, right? Against most of these teams, I mean, come on, guys. I know I sound so old here, but the point of the game is to score some points. These guys, I mean, they were getting mad at Myers for missing a 55-yarder, right? That's how good these kickers are.
Right.
55-yarder?
Right.
I mean, it's like a Hail Mary, and they're like, I can't believe you missed it.
Right.
Oh, yeah, 55-yarder with the game on the line. I mean, you can't.
I agree.
I'm sorry about that.
I agree. Did I sell you at all? Did I sell you at all, spread? Did I sell you at all with my pitch?
I mean, not really. Number one, I don't believe that the Commanders are going to score a lot of points against that defense, so we might not have points there. I don't know how Jordan Love's going to score a lot of points in that defense, but here's what I'll try and sell you on. You know who my favorite bad quarterback in the league is? Drew Lock. Let's go. I wouldn't mind watching him, man.
He's a scrappy little thing. Yeah,
he's fun.
He is scrappy. Tyler, did I sell you? Are you intrigued on this Thanksgiving slate at all?
I mean, I'm intrigued, Meg, just because usually bad football games mean easy money.
There we go.
Oh,
okay.
Look at
all
this
right.
guy.
Well, let's break it down game by game. We're going to go game by game and hit what spreads, totals, props, touchdowns you all like. And then we're going to build a very degenerate Turkey Day degen parlay. That's what I'm calling it. And then we'll post that on Twitter. But and then we'll take an early look at week 12. So we're 40 minutes in. Let's hit the game by game. We've got, let's see, let me get the spread on this and everything too. We've got obviously at 12:30, Packers at Lions. Spread is 7.5. Lions are favored by 7.5. Totals 46.5. Spread, I'll go to you first. You want to break this game down, and what bets are you liking?
Yeah, I have this one pretty much close to the number for the side. We have it going to the under on the total, which we've talked about, because, I mean, how many points will they leave on the board in this game? We'll find out. To me, I can only look to the Lions, and Tyler's going to take the easy way out and just tease the game, and he's correct there. But since you're here for some hard-hitting analysis, here to see a guy take a side, I think this is a great spot for Detroit. Tough situation last week, right? They should have blown that game out. This is Goff's worst game in the last 2 years, maybe. I don't know all his games off the top of my head, but uncharacteristic performance by him, who did a really good job of protecting the ball. So that's like a best case scenario for a coach, where you get the win, you're still 8-2, you're still second in the division, but he can, and it sucks because they don't have the full week of practice, but he's gonna be able to light into them guys, right? There's plenty of stuff that they left out there that needs to be corrected. But I do believe that the Packers have found some fool's gold there with Jordan Love going against an ineffective Chargers defense. The Chargers defense is the ultimate, I don't want to say fantasy football, because only in like certain leagues do you have defensive players, but they have all these big name players on defense, but then everyone else is below average, right? So while they do have Bosa, who's out for the game,
he got carted off first quarter of that game, so he made no impact.
I don't think he's going to be back. They do have Khalil Mack, who's great, but at this point, the name is better than the actual production you're getting. Derwin James, does he play anymore? Is he hurt already?
That's a walking 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty.
Yeah. So while they do have these big names, overall, really the defense isn't very good. And you saw Brandon Staley getting chippy with the media after their latest loss. That's the voice of a man who knows that his time as an NFL head coach is over, and I think it's going to be hard for him to get back there. Most likely going back to being a DC, and who knows how well he'll do at that. It's not like Vic Fangio, right, where we know that you're getting one of the best DCs in the league after he left as a head coach. He really only had one good year there. I'm going all about this to say that against the spread, I still think the Lions cover. I don't think this is close, and I'm loving to get Green Bay coming off that big win here. I might be a little more concerned, but I think that, they'll be feeling good, and I like the Lions here to cover the spread.
Okay. I like that. I like my Lions, my highest owned best ball. Guys, we only have 3 weeks left in best ball regular season, so we could play a drinking game with how many times I refer to my best ball portfolio. I'll try to behave. But Tyler, do you agree with spread? Are you on the Lions in this one? I know you talked about the teaser.
Easy. I mean, the only teams, per rotation just said it, Detroit's never dealt well with scrambling quarterbacks. We watched Lamar scramble all over them and blow them out. Justin Fields runs for 100+ and almost beats them, and Goff plays a terrible game. Now they get to play Jordan Love, which, does he run? Yeah, but he does not run at the level that those two do. So he could rush for maybe 25, 30 yards, but he's not going to put up 100 and decide the game like those two did. So I'm on Detroit here. I think they smash. I think Laporta finds the end zone after a bad week last week. I don't think he was targeted until the second half.
Yeah,
I think Montgomery and Gibbs do their thing on the ground. We know how bad Green Bay's run defense is. So I bet those two guys both get in the end zone. You could do the touchdowns and money line. It's plus 105 for Montgomery, plus 125 for Gibbs. You could do Laporta in that. He's plus 240 for Detroit touchdown, and they win. I think Detroit just lays the smack down here. I mean, this series has taken a weird flip, like a complete 180 flip. 4 years ago, you look back on it, the Green Bay would just pound Detroit into the dirt over and over again.
Yeah.
It was like clockwork.
Yeah.
Now tables have turned. Now Detroit just puts it on Green Bay.
I love seeing the underdog. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Got to take Detroit here. They bounce back after a bad golf game that they snuck out with a win, and they pound this team.
I like that. And part of the betting card is
this is the game where Gibbs or Montgomery standing in the Salvation Army bucket, eating the turkey leg, got 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're up by like 25.
Well, I know Gibbs, it was early in the season. Gibbs wasn't nearly as involved as he is now, but this was the game earlier in the year where Montgomery had not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns. I could see 3 touchdowns coming on the ground split between them because they're basically splitting the role. But we do talk anytime touchdowns and props. So Spread, I'll go to you. Any touchdowns you're targeting? Tyler mentioned a couple of them. Any ones that stick out to you on the anytime touchdown market?
Yeah, I would go with St. Brown here. And my idea is I don't know which running back's going to get in. So I feel safer thinking that St. Brown will be there with those red zone targets. So I like Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay. Right now you can get Amon-Ra plus 105. I'm on FanDuel. Tyler, how about you? You kind of just mentioned him. You said Laporta, he's plus 180. Do you like that? Anybody else?
I like both the running backs. I mean, I know that's the chalky picks, but we know Green Bay can't stop the run defense whatsoever. So
exactly. If you want to put just those two together, it's over 2 to 1. It's plus 233.
Another one I was looking at, Meg. I'm just looking up to see how this went in their first game. All right, because we hit a fun one in the primetime game with these first drive parlays.
Yeah.
The Lions, they've been a pretty good first drive scripted team. Like, they get down there pretty quick. They can easily score a touchdown on the first drive.
Yeah.
Packers probably punt, right?
Right. Yeah.
First drive results for both teams. Lions touchdown, Packers punt is 5-1.
Oh, I like that.
That's a fun little bet that's out of the way in less than 15 minutes into the game. Your bet's over with you either won or lost.
How fun is that? To start off your Thanksgiving day, you got a 5-1. I love it, Tyler. That's
and
awesome.
I will be using that in the Seattle game because we know San Fran's scripted first drive always results in some kind of points.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably make Seattle punt with Geno banged up.
That's
and Kenny Walker's probably not playing.
Great call. Great way to start and end your Thanksgiving with a little first drive parlay. I like that. I like the anytime touchdown. I'm on both running backs to score. I like Laporta to score. If you put all 3 together, you get almost 10-1. And then.
So do you like the over, Meg? We got everybody scoring.
It's like you said, this year it's so tough to confidently bet an over. Which, by the way, Tilt Fest. I have to tilt. On our card, I was so all about our San Francisco over.
And then they get down there twice and can't get it in.
And we missed by 1 point. Yeah.
They won't kick the field goal like Spread was talking about.
Yeah, 1 point. I was so confident about that bet. I love that bet. I was on it, and that was such a tilt.
It was just one of those bets, too, where it's like, oh, well, we should have laid the side. And it's like, well, yeah, you could sit here and tell me that now.
Right.
But if they score and the game goes over, the side loses. So you were stuck between you were stuck between a rock and a hard place with the way that game ended. Like one side was going to look very smart, the other side was going to look like shucks, maybe we should have been on the other one.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Either way, it sucked, but
it sucked. But yeah,
we get it back with the Lions.
So it's hard. It's hard here to feel confident about that. But I'm just talking about guys I like. 2 score touchdown. Yes, you may not want to parlay like 4 together. But I just mentioned if you just wanted to do the Lions, you get almost 10-1. Don't even worry about what happens on the other side. I think the Lions are putting up at least 3 touchdowns. Now you have to hit them right. I don't know. And like you said, you like Amon-Ra too. So we do like a lot of touchdowns on the Lions side.
Are we concerned though? The short week, the early start, maybe they come out slow.
That the Lions come out slow, or
Both
that
teams.
this game comes out slow.
I mean,
you know my feelings on Thursday football.
After what the Lions did last week, I think they bounced back in not a big way, but they're not going to hit the ground slow, I don't think.
Yeah, this was also a Thursday game that the Lions pounded them, and their offense just looked like a juggernaut, to start and finish the game. They just pounded them the whole game. So I'm not concerned about that. Clyde says Lions against the world. I know. I love a good underdog story. And I love that the Lions are now making a run, for the 1 seed in the NFC. I think that's great. Great story for these fans who have been going to these Thanksgiving Day games and they've been shit for a couple decades. Now they get to root on a team like this. I think that's awesome. So any touchdowns we like on the Green Bay side? I would say Jaden Reed would be the one I'd probably target. Any ones for you guys?
I'd take a long shot on Jordan Love running one in.
Okay. Love
Probably
running.
about it.
Okay. Yeah, the Love is 7-1. Jaden Reed's plus 240. So
what about your favorite player, Christian Watson?
Whose favorite player? It's not my favorite player.
Tyler, weren't you bagging on him, or am I thinking of JC?
No, that was me. I mean, I think they said he's like 4th on the depth chart now or something. He just doesn't look good. He's just deep ball or bust. He was a waste of a pick in best ball season long because everyone was taking him high, thinking he was going to do good. And
yeah,
he's not that kind of guy. It's almost like these North Dakota State guys spread that played together, maybe fooled the league. Because he was Trey Lance's number 1.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I forgot about that until you said that. That's hilarious. Okay, Tyler, props in this game. Any props that are standing out to you? I don't know if they're a decent amount up right now, actually. I'm on FanDuel. But any props that are standing out to you?
I haven't really went over like all the prop numbers yet. Just the touchdown scorers would be the ones I'd be targeting right now.
Right.
I mean, maybe a Jordan Love interception where they got that set at. I don't even see it up on FanDuel yet. Or even we're getting Gibbs rushing yards at 46.5, and he's getting way more volume now too. So I don't think that volume's just going to disappear. I like the over there. Yeah,
I mean, it's tough. I love both Gibbs and Montgomery, and they got the split, kind of split backfield, but both are kind of getting there. So, it's interesting.
Gibbs can get that 46 yards on one run if he breaks it too.
That's true. I mean, AJ Dillon has the whole role. Aaron Jones will likely be out, but I don't love.
I'd rather ball up my money and stuff it in the turkey.
Yeah. And stuff it in the turkey, exactly.
And I'm never betting on somebody they had a video of him on Twitter playing this video game called Farming Simulator. He was just driving a tractor around mowing the field. He was playing a video game called Farming.
Who was?
AJ Dillon on a Saturday night when they played on Sunday. It was like, yeah, never.
Oh
you
my God.
Never getting picked by me in anything.
Oh my God. I'm dying.
I wouldn't pick AJ Dillon in a YMCA football game after seeing that.
Why do you hate video game farming, Tyler?
I mean, that's just not a game you should be playing as a football player the night before you play a football game on Twitch.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so no other props in this one then that stick out to you guys. Because we got the next game, we got some props to target.
Yeah, let's keep it moving to the next one.
Yeah, let's go next one. Of course, we've got my Washington Commanders going to Dallas for the historic rivalry, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Washington is a 10.5 point dog. Total is 48.5. What do you think, spread? Do you think my Commander? I can't say. Do you think Washington's going to get blown out?
Unfortunately, but was this Clyde in the chat? He says Cowboys are 1-11 ATS on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was just about to pull that up. I was waiting for us to break this one down. And good, yeah.
You got to be feeling like it. So if I were to go ahead and do this, right, Meg? Mm-hmm. Let's just have a fun exercise. I'll argue for your team, right?
Let's do that.
Because I do think that when you're handicapping, this is a fun exercise, though. You should be going through this stuff in your head. Yeah. How does each side get there? Yeah. So how does Washington get there? Number one, it's a great buy low spot for them, right? Mm-hmm. Coming off a loss to arguably the worst team in the NFL. They looked really bad. You got Dallas coming off 2 big wins, right? So another one where they had it pretty easy, but they've had
3 in a row. Or no, then they lost to Eagles. Sorry, but the offense.
They have it's so much tougher. I think Carolina's really bad, right? Washington to me is at least respectable. Carolina up there with the Giants, arguably the worst team in the league. Yeah. Offensive line's pretty bad there. So you are getting a spot where potentially you could say the Cowboys are overvalued, Commanders are undervalued. Then you throw in there the division familiarity, how much these teams know each other. So you can make an argument for the Commanders. I don't love it, but I just did.
Well, I like your argument for the Commanders. No, I mean, I want to see a good game. I think here, drink. I want to see best ball points. A lot of Dak shares, a lot of Hal shares, a lot of stacks with each. So a lot of Brian Robinson. So if you're playing the drinking game, go ahead and drink because I want to see a lot of points and yards in this game, and think we're going to get that because obviously Washington makes everybody look great. Dallas, since their bye, has looked awesome on offense. I think they're naturally would put up points, but Washington's defense makes everybody have historically good games. So I think Dallas could absolutely put up 40 plus points, and Washington throws at the highest clip in the league. Undoubtedly, how is the most yards, attempts, completions that he throws the most. It's wild how much they throw, but now he's probably going to be in a very likely negative game script. So going to have to definitely throw the whole entire time. So, hopefully you're getting a lot of yards and points there. Now, of course, from a props perspective, receiver wise, he spreads it out just from that Kansas City offense, just like Kansas City does. So that's the only thing there. But that's the one thing to like in this game is yards and points. I think the concern, the thing I'll say as a Washington fan, fearing about embarrassing ourselves for a second week in a row now on national television would be if what you alluded to earlier, spread, do we just get embarrassed by this Dallas defense? And do they have the number? That's the fear is, Cowboys put up 40, but we can't even put up 17. That is a fear. Hope that's not it. Hope they, can have a little fun track meet to make it interesting and a fun game for everybody to watch. What do you think, Tyler?
I think they hang around. I think 10.5 might be a little bit too many points, but I probably don't click the Washington button.
Right.
I probably just go in and give me a CeeDee Lamb touchdown. They win at plus 130.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the corners in Washington are
putrid.
Yeah.
Awful.
He's going to have a field day. Pollard's just not the guy anymore. I know he had a nice touchdown run against Carolina, but that was the worst rush defense, and my man had to fight for every inch of that touchdown run. So I still don't see them running the ball very effectively. It's going to be Dak through the air. I think CeeDee Lamb finds the end zone. I think Jake Ferguson finds the end zone. Schoonmaker stole his touchdown last week. He should have had one. I think he gets in here, but I'll be on CeeDee Lamb heavier, and CeeDee Lamb touchdown to win will be my bet in this one.
I like that. What about
if you want the fun bet? I mean, the dude on Dallas's defense has 4 pick sixes. He can't get another one here in a game they probably lead with a young quarterback that's made mistakes.
Yep.
So a defensive touchdown at like 4-1. I don't hate sprinkling on that either.
What do you think about 2 weeks ago? We hit the Dallas team total. We didn't touch it last week. Team total again is set at 30.5 plus money. I think that's fine. I like that.
What is this set at?
30.5.
I projected it at 31.6. It's not a huge edge.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm really wary on these Thanksgiving games of slow starts. Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I should go back and look. But doesn't it always seem that we have slow first halves and then they end up being exciting?
With Dak is, I don't know. Historically, I was wondering when Dak starts on Thanksgiving, because I believe there's been a couple he's been out for. So obviously throw those out. But when Dak starts on Thanksgiving, I was wondering what the performances have been.
I'll check that right now.
Yeah, I was just wondering some of his Thanksgiving performances specifically. So the team total would be one I'd be interested in, just because, I mean, my goodness, to get plus money when, on a team on our defense that we know is just historically bad. But I mean, I think a lot of overs are very live. Well, let me go to touchdowns next, and then we'll go to as spreads looking that up. I mentioned the team total. That you guys obviously like Dallas to win. You talked about approaching it more from the prop and win. Speaking of touchdown scores, you mentioned CeeDee Lamb. Love that, Tyler. He's actually minus 105 on FanDuel. I'll go to you guys first and then jump in. Who else do you like, Tyler, in the touchdown market?
Yeah, also like Ferguson and the defense for Dallas.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. I ain't gonna take anything on Washington side. I mean, you could try Scary Terry or Dotson. Dotson's just been so hit or miss. He has one good week, and then
he'll goose egg, and then score.
He's all over the place. So it'd be like Terry on the other side for me, but main look would be CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, and a sprinkle on Dallas's defense.
Yeah, so Lamb's -105, Dotson, Ferguson +210, and then what do we got for Dallas defense? What do you got? Are you on DraftKings? Okay, 4-1. Yeah, I would say the ones on Washington, you can get Brian Robinson plus odds. He's obviously involved in the pass game too, even in a negative game script, +165, Terry McLaurin +200, and Dotson +290. Ultimate long shot, if he goes to his guy, Diami Brown, UNC guy, 8-1 just to score.
Kind of like him to run 1 and 2, Meg. They get down there, Brian Robinson can't get up through the middle. And he drops back, and now he's getting chased around, and he just ends up in the end zone just running for his life.
Yeah, well, and he does that. I wish he would take less hits.
His run last week, I thought for sure they broke something.
Yes. Oh, I did too.
He scored, and they pushed him backwards, and instead of being like just fall on the ground and let the play die and like I know I'm in the end zone, I guess he didn't think he got in, so he tried to get in again, and he got in again. He got hit again right in the helmet. I was like,
I know. He's scrappy. He takes these beatings, and that's why I wish he'd, young guy. I hope he learns to get down, get out of bounds. Yeah. I love the, I'm trying to get every extra yard. And in that case, I'm trying to make sure I got that touchdown. That's great. But I also want to see you play too. So yeah, what are his odds to score actually?
Like 5-1.
Yeah. I like that too. Any other touchdown scores that we didn't mention, Spread, that you want to mention?
No, I want to dive in. Unless you guys have more touchdowns, I want to dive into this history, Meg, because I think you can help me a little bit.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, we're seeing that this is they're not blowing people out. Last year was 28-20. Remember, both teams were 7-3, so this was a big showdown, and it was actually the beginning.
Who did they play
end.
Last year? Dallas.
The Giants.
Oh, that's right.
They played the Giants, and this was actually the beginning of the end for that storybook, right? Because they're 7-3 right now. Giants only won 2 more games for the rest of the season here.
Right.
But going into this game, this was a huge showdown. Dallas got the 28-20 win. The year before this, Meg, how did I forget? We beat them.
Yep.
The Raiders, 36-33.
How did you forget that? Yeah, long bomb.
I mean, I barely remember what happened last Sunday. So, I mean, 2 years ago. We're really stretching it here, Meg. When you're this old, you got a lot of memories up in there. But yeah, and so this would be an example of the team playing down to their competition. I do remember we weren't all that good that year, and it was a high scoring game there, 36-33. So now help me. I remember that being you guys beat them 41-16 in 2020. Who would have been your quarterback in that game then?
It wouldn't have
Fitzpatrick?
been Fitzpatrick. No, Fitzpatrick got injured.
Was that the year Dak's ankle was like
that? This is the game.
Yes. That's,
wait. No. They lost him in week 5. So you went against Andy Dalton in that game. I just don't remember who your quarterback was.
Oh God, we had a rotation of quarterbacks that year. Is Steve still in the chat?
And you both came into the game at 3-7.
Who was the quarterback? It wasn't Alex Smith yet.
Was it Kyle Allen?
God, we rotated between Kyle. It wasn't Heineke until the very end, till playoffs.
I know Kyle Allen got games for that team at some point.
Yeah, he got Kyle. It was Fitzpatrick had a half. And then it was that was the next.
My point is,
I'm getting the years confused.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. The point is, it's not that indicative because both teams came into the game at 3-7.
It was Kyle Allen.
Yeah. 2019, they lost to the Bills, which is not that bad. A win. The Bills were 8-3. The Cowboys were 6-5. I don't know how much we can take about it. Then in 2018, it was 31-23. You had Colt McCoy in there.
Yeah.
And they still had Amari Cooper. And they won 31-23.
Okay.
They lost 28-6 the year before that. And that was Dak was actually in there. And Zeke was suspended.
What year was that?
And Alfred Morris ran the ball, 2017. And then the final one I'm going to ask you about is another close one, 31-26 in 2016. And this is when Dak and Zeke were both rookies, and you guys had Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. And what was the score of that game?
31-26.
Yeah. Okay. I remember we had a couple exciting Washington against Dallas wins. It was
so
all the way back to RG3 days, the 2012 win. I remember the Kirk Cousins win. And then I did not remember this win, but now I do that Dak was out, and I looked up the box score. It was Alex Smith. I did not remember that Alex Smith played that, but he only threw for 149 yards. Who the hell scored for us in that game? Antonio Gibson had 3 touchdowns. Okay. So yeah. We were going against Dalton. So yeah, I remember that we got a win, but it was with Dak out. But I remember the 2 games against Dak. Yes, I remember the RG3 game and the Kirk Cousins game. So,
my point is just that quick little exercise. I think it keeps pointing to the fact that if you want to get involved and just decide here, I think you take the points.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I agree with history here. I can't pull a trigger there.
Oh, it's not. I mean, it's not comfortable. That's for sure.
Yeah, cool. Then me and Meg will both be DMing you with that.
I mean, this is. I mean, you listed off every quarterback that's played for them in these games. They were all vets. And now you're sending in a young kid against probably the best Dallas defense that's touched the field in any of those matchups.
That's the one thing that worries me. The way that we throw,
and they seem to be the NFC version of the Ravens. Like, you put a bad team in front of them, they just look at them like the shark off of Finding Nemo when he smells blood, and they just maul them.
They have been mauling bad teams. That is true. I'd like to think it'll be like the Eagles, and we'll like go toe to toe with them and put up a good performance. But the defense, the Dallas defense, is the outlier against our terrible offensive line, and how could make some mistakes that does concern. That is the worry for sure. Now I do think, like, if we want, so we talked about taking the points, we talked about the touchdowns. I do think in the prop market there's a lot to like, because I do think, especially from the Dallas side, you could alt these guys. Like, I don't know about you, Tyler, but I would alt the hell out of, do ladders with Dak, CD, even Brandon Cooks.
I mean, Dak 3+ touchdowns is, I think, plus 250 on FanDuel. Let me double check that.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
I know he's at least 2-1.
3+ touchdowns is 2-1. Yeah.
I like that. CD Lamb's receiving yards is already 91.5. So I mean, alting it to 100 gets you like an extra 8 cents.
I'd alt that thing to 125.
I try to stay at 100 just because, like, I hate going above that, because then it's like, well, I'm at $1.25 and the dude went for 115. Like, he nuked the slate, but I was 10 yards off.
Yeah. I mean, he went off before this last game. He went off in like 3 straight games.
He was torching defenses.
I think Cook's line is, too low, obviously, but I mean, I know he's obviously has been more boom bust this season. He had that one like massive game, but I mean, against our secondary, 36.5. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty low. That could be one. That could be one ball.
That could be one pass. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think Ferguson's at 35.5. Like you said, CD's at 91.5. Gallup's at 24.5. Again, with our receivers, it's tough just because it's spread around so damn much. He's going to throw, but I mean, I do think if you think how can hold his own against the defense, his line is, let me look at his line really quick, because he's been flying over his line each and every week just because of the rate in which they throw. I
gotta bet you might like Meg. I mean, it's against your quarterback, but
254.5 is where he's at. Go ahead. Sorry.
Dexter, or is it Dexter? No, it's DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence, yeah.
Over 0.75 sacks, even money. Can I interest you in that when Dallas probably racks up sacks left and right in this game?
Wait, how many sacks does he need to get?
0.75. So if he gets a half,
then
they go up above it. So if he gets a half, he doesn't catch the bet. So
got it.
Can he get one sack?
Yeah,
I say yes.
100%. Yes, absolutely. Love that. Yeah, I think that's very, very viable. Well, I'll say when we make our Turkey Day DGen parlay, I will be definitely grabbing a piece of this game, because I think you can alt it and get a little wild. So, all right. Anything else in this game? And we'll go on to our nightcap.
That's it for me.
What about the over? Just
Oh, yeah.
overall. I just looked up this game
interested in the
in
over.
Dallas. Commanders versus Dallas has gone over 7 of their last 8 in Dallas.
Yep.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I think if any of the games go over, it is the middle one.
You just read all the past few Dallas games with Dak, and then you cited like 3 Washington games, and then that.
And even with them
the
just
stats,
bouncing these lower bottom teams, they usually take their foot off their throat late in the game and they get some points.
Mm-hmm.
Like you even seen it with Carolina, they were like, all right, we're done. Like go play football now.
Yeah, no, over is the one I like a lot. Yeah, for sure. Okay, the nightcap, we've got obviously the San Francisco 49ers at Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are getting 7, totals 43.5. Geno Smith is questionable. We'll see. I mean, I think they said he's trending towards playing. It looks like Kenneth Walker will be out, so Zach Charbonnet will be the main running back over there. 49ers are healthy. 49ers look freaking good. I like 49ers in this one. Spread, what do you think?
I want to go for the Seahawks. You know, it's so funny. Tyler and I had the Rams, and I bet the Seahawks so much that in my head, when the Seahawks were making big plays, I was like, yes. And then I'm like, oh, wait, because I do like them. They're a good team against the spread here. But, boy, have I learned my lesson about stepping in front of the San Francisco juggernaut. Mm-hmm. I have to agree that when they're fully healthy, this is currently the best team in football. San Francisco, 19-4. in their last 23 games. And we know about the 3 losses, right? When they were missing the 3 weapons.
Yep.
So when this team's fully healthy, they do not lose. This is like an easy money line bet here, even though Seattle is 6-1 in their last 7 games at home. Tough place to play. I think San Francisco gets the win. Boy, I wouldn't think it would be that crazy, though, if Seattle was able to cover. But Tyler, I do this all the time. Am I just walking into a trap here if I take the points with the Seahawks?
I wouldn't take the points with the Seahawks. I'd lay it with the Niners, if anything. They seem to be getting back on a roll. Geno's banged up. You're missing your starting running back. 7 ain't enough, I'll tell you that much. If you were getting maybe 10.5, I'd say, maybe you got something there. But just don't even overthink it. Just tease the Niners and the Lions down and count the money at the end of the night. It's that simple for Thursday.
I agree. I like that. Any thoughts on the over under in this game? This game, I mean, you could get it just from the 49ers side but again, we just kind of missed that last week. It's 43.5 here. Obviously, Geno being banged up scares me on that one.
Yeah,
I think we're getting a little bit of discount on Seattle because they're not good on the road. And they looked bad yesterday or Sunday.
Are you still fighting for the Seattle spread?
Yeah, he's still going.
Bro, check out these slippers I got on right now.
He's got a half-dead quarterback, and he's wanting to bet Seattle.
What do you have Seahawks slippers for?
So it's just kind of a running joke because when I was young in my 20s, my dad's from Seattle, so he had some Seahawks slippers, and he just gave them to me. And I would just wear them. And my buddies would always make fun of me because, I'd always be wearing them. So then I actually just now it's a new thing. Like I have to wear Seahawks slippers. So I just keep rebuying Seahawks slippers. So
I love it.
Low-key a Seahawks fan, right? Brian Bosworth. Okay. I thought he was going to be so
we all know why he's pulling for the Seahawks play even more now.
Okay, now we know. I didn't know about the slippers. I had no idea about the slippers.
The slippers cost me last year when they played in the playoffs. I thought they were going to cover that game too.
Well, don't let the slippers cost you again, spread. I think you go on the 49ers side here.
I don't know. Oh my God. Would it be that crazy though if the Seahawks, right? Pete Carroll's like a Tomlin guy, right? He's great as an underdog at home. I'm going to look that up right now. Meg, move to the next one. If the trend favors what I'm saying, then I'm going to interrupt you. If not, just forget whatever I said.
Okay. So Tyler and I like the 49ers. Spread's looking up some trends. Tyler, let's talk touchdowns. We like doing that. I mean, I don't know what Christian McCaffrey 2 touchdowns is, but you could always look at that. Any other touchdown scores you like?
His touchdown and wins -115, so that's a bet.
Yeah, that's a bet.
So you only need one out of him, and he pretty much gets one every game outside of 2 games ago where he didn't, and everyone else on the team did.
Exactly, and he was trying to get the record, yeah.
I think this is a Debo game. I think he finds the end zone because I think they put Witherspoon on Ayuk, and he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
And I mean, outside of that, I mean, what's Purdy's passing touchdowns? You usually get a nice plus money tag on these over 1.5.
That's a good call.
Over 1.5 on his touchdowns is now minus 150. So that prop.
If you want to push it to 3, it's 3. But then if McCaffrey could run in 2, and
that's the thing is there's just too many guys that could run them in on this team. Debo could run one in 2, and now you're playing the game. Needed that in the end. So I'd rather just bet those 2 to score, and you can do the score and they win and get better prices.
Yeah.
And Debo's receiving yards at 45.5 is too low.
Way too low. Yeah.
Way too low.
I mean, I know he didn't get it the last week or 2, or just missed his line the last week or 2. But I think you made a great point about Witherspoon and just the spot here for Debo. And just that line seems mispriced. So I think we're getting some value there. I like that a lot. I can't touch the Seattle lines just because you
don't know if Geno's I can't bet a receiver with Geno banged up, and I'm not betting Charbonnet because he didn't show me anything. He doesn't look bad, but he looks like a pretty big drop off from Kenny Walker.
Right. Oh,
exactly. I'd say the same. He's not a bad running back. I just think Kenneth Walker is that good. Yeah.
Right. Agreed.
Quick to jump in, Meg, and I didn't do a full search, but just as an underdog, 49, 33, and 3 against the spread, 59.4. So Carroll's a guy that we don't want to count out here. Let's take this one. I don't know. So Tyler, help me here. What news do I want here? Do I want Drew Lock and the extra 4 or 5 points?
You better hope they butter the floors in San Francisco's locker room and 4 guys fall over and sprain ankles. That's what you want.
That's what you want. Yeah, that's actually
unbelievable. All right. I'll just be wearing my slippers by myself this weekend then.
That was great. Oh my. I can't touch any of the Seattle props, Tyler. I agree with you there. I mean, Kittle's been going off. I mean, he can tend to be boom bust, but it's been 3 or 4 in a row now that he's just been going off. His line's been 48.
It's been the 3 touchdown game with guys out. It's been a deep ball touchdown where the cornerback fell.
Last week he had a bunch of catches, didn't he?
Last week was the first week where he got pelted with the ball.
Right, that's what I meant. Yeah.
It wasn't just big chunk plays.
So it's kind of been in different ways, right? Yeah. So I mean, if it dropped off, it wouldn't shock me because sometimes it does oscillate between these weapons. So it wouldn't shock me. That's why I probably do like Debo's line the best.
Spread left, but there's those trends that back his side here. Seattle's 10-2, last 12 at home against San Fran. San Fran's 5-15 straight up in their last 20 against Seattle. So it's Seattle's had their number.
Wow. I remember them on a night game last year. And I remember being surprised, San Francisco won. And it was one of those games where it was you kind of knew all along they were going to win, but it wasn't
the 21-13 game.
Yeah, that was the one I'm thinking of, where it wasn't they didn't stomp on them with over 30 points or anything.
It also seems like they beat them. Let's see. So they beat them the last time they beat them would have been December 5th of 21. So that was last year. So they beat them twice since Russell Wilson's left. And then once Purdy showed up, they haven't beat him since.
Right. I mean, I kind of agree with you, Tyler. Maybe approach it a different way. Just approach it.
Yeah, just McCaffrey touchdown and win. CMC touchdown and win, or a Debo touchdown.
I think I don't see how they lose this game. 49ers, that is. But like you said, the spread factor and the Carroll's history at home, all those things. But again, the whole Geno being banged up thing.
It's got backdoor written all over it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's San Fran's in control. They're up by 10, 90% of the game. Late touchdown, they win the game by 3. Yeah. The final score looks like the game was close, but in the end, that touchdown was scored with a minute left, and it meant nothing.
Right. Like a garbage. Yeah. Okay. Anything else for this game before we build our Turkey Day DGen parlay? It's got a ring to it. I mean, I have to say, my Turkey Day DGen parlay, I like it. Okay, do we each want to take a game? Do we each want to take or just go for it? Just go, it could be any game because I believe it can be any game.
I'll just take CeeDee Lamb's touchdown.
All right.
Can we cross the games? Why not or are we doing one game?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think you can cross the games. I'm looking at the FanDuel special now. Oh shit. But yeah, no, I believe it's any of the 3 games. So your choice. It's the Thanksgiving no sweat same game parlay.
Or same game plus, so we could do both all the games.
Yeah.
I like a CD touchdown. I think that's a good one.
Okay. Let me put that in. And I just lost the NFL slate. All right. Tyler is CD touchdown. Sorry, jumped on me. Spread, what do you got for our parlay?
You're muted.
I'd like to go with the. Can I just choose the side? Can I just lay it with Detroit?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this one's going to be super degen as far as like our total number, but that's okay.
All right. Give me Amon-Ra to score a touchdown and Detroit to win. Does that up my odds?
I'm sure it will. Let me go add that. Sorry, my computer's being slow. Okay. Amon-Ra, let me get in the same game parlay here.
I hate to give you more work, Meg, but if he's going to take that one, I might as well just take CD and Dallas wins.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Shit.
So we got Amon-Ra, CD. Sorry, you got Meg.
All right, my computer's being so slow. I gotta do something from Washington game. I can't. I mean, I want to
really.
Yes.
I thought for sure it was going to be Laporta over. Laporta to send me a DM after the game. Laporta to shout me out on TV.
Listen, I hope so. Again, for the best ball shares, I hope it's Laporta over, Laporta 2 touchdowns, Laporta everything. Believe me, but. I'm trying to win a parlay here, and I want to feel something that I'm. Can I do 2 legs?
Do your thing.
Okay. It's part of our game, and I'm gonna make this parlay that started out at plus 438, and I'm gonna make it totally degen with just 2 legs from the Washington game. So to start, we have Amon-Ra touchdown, Detroit Lions win. CD Lamb touchdown, Dallas and win. Dallas is going to win with 325 from Dak, and Hal's going to come back and throw for over 300. Now you've got 50 to 1.
I like that.
Wow.
And
I love it.
Your turkey
tell you what, Meg,
parlay.
from my looking up, that it harkens back to when both Dak and Derek Carr went over.
Exactly.
700 yards combined passing.
Did they go over 7? Okay, that was.
Guess what's the best part of this story?
What?
The underdog got a shocking upset win as a huge underdog.
Maybe we should take out the Dallas win then, just in case. No, I'm just
kidding. Switch it to Commanders win. CD Lamb and Commanders win.
Yeah, that ticket's going to go from about 50 to 1 to 100.
Oh my God, I just have to.
Yeah.
Let me just for fun.
Next week we're like, "Where's Meg?" And you're like, "We all we see is like your feet and the little tiki
in Vegas somewhere."
Yeah.
Okay, if you flipped it to the Commanders spread, it goes from 50 to 1 to 65 to 1. If you flipped it to the Commanders money line, you now have 200 to 1.
Yeah, see, I was sure.
Meg, throw one of those in there, even just $1. Come on.
Yeah, let's do this. All right. I mean, I might. That's what I asked for a Turkey Day degen parlay. You got to degen it up. So we're talking yards in that game. We're talking Washington upset. You could play it both ways, though, I'd say. All right, I think that rounds out Turkey Day. We covered it every which way possible: spreads, totals, teasers, props, anytime touchdowns, parlays. Now we're almost an hour and a half in, so let's just take a quick look at Week 12. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to check out the NFL betting card on fanspeak.com, because then the full NFL card will be up. Obviously, we'll have a full card up for Thursday. check it for before on Saturday. We'll have a full card up for Sunday, and all of Spread and Tyler's bets will be up later in the week. So check that out. Be sure to check out NFL Betting Card, and of course, check out their NFL Treasure Map on fanspeak.com to go to the sports betting tab for that. Okay, Spread. Give me some quick early thoughts for week 12 and bounce things off with Tyler.
All right, Tyler. I did look that up earlier. You're right. The Texans 10-1 in their last 11 against the Jaguars. What do you think?
Teaser. Just tease them up because it's a big game. Jacksonville could end up winning it. You're getting them plus 1.5. Why not knock them up to 8.5 or 7.5?
Dude, you work in a warehouse or a strip club because you just want to tease everything.
It makes the games easier to bet, Fred.
No, I agree with you. And there's a reason why those Wong totals have gone from minus 110 to minus 125, minus 130 on certain books there.
Hell, the new
minus
ESPN,
120 is a deal.
The new ESPN bet book has like minus 175 on teaser spread.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What are other things that stood out to me? We already did the Sunday game. Steelers, Bengals, Tyler. I have the Steelers to win by 2. Do we not get involved in that game?
No. I mean, their secondary is banged up very badly right now. The front seven's still there, so the defense looks all right. I get it. Canada's gone. It might boost them a little bit.
Yeah.
And Burrow's down, and Browning didn't look all that good. But at any moment, Browning can get the ball into Chase's hands, and Chase is running down the field for touchdowns that we can't stop. So I'd rather.
He had a long week to prep too.
Yeah, he gets a week to prep now with the guys. I don't want to bet the Steelers there.
Okay, that's fine. Booney, actually, Folsom High legend here, set a bunch of California records. We thought he was going to be a great QB. Let's see if that ever happens. Tennessee Titans are -4, Tyler. I told you I wanted to take Will Levis at home, and I get to do it against arguably the worst team in the league. Can I pull the trigger on the Titans?
This is categorized as I'd rather just not bet bad teams versus bad teams.
Oh, it's so no fun.
Especially, I mean, Tennessee should win this game. Should. But their pass funnel defense, this is just one of those spots where it lines up. You're watching the game. It's a lot sweatier than it has to be. Bryce Young throws for a ton of yards, and one of the only games he's played good in. I'm staying away from it, but it's Tennessee or pass, and I'm passing.
Okay, that's fine. Saints Falcons, I didn't want to get involved in that. Did you?
No.
Buccaneers Colts. Buccaneers are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games on the road.
Give me the Bucks. Colts just cut Shaq Leonard for God knows what reason.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they released him, so he's going somewhere else.
They cut him?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a retirement thing or if he's going to find a new team. Tampa Bay stops the run. That's what the Colts do. I'm not scared of their receivers and Minshew. Tampa Bay wins this game. Give me them outright.
Okay. Well, it looks like we agree there. The Rams against the Cardinals. Because of the uncertainty around the Cardinals, I don't trust their projections. They played Houston pretty tough last week. Rams coming off the big win. I don't know what to make of this game. I'm fine staying away. Am I missing anything?
I would take the Cardinals, if anything. Cardinals at home. Kyler's got his feet under him now. Cooper Kupp's not playing. I can't back the Rams there. It's Cardinals or pass.
What do you think, Meg? What do you think of Kyler's performance?
Honestly, I was like you. I was out for the game, so I didn't really get to really watch the game.
He looks pretty good.
Yeah, but so far from what the clips and stuff that I've seen and what I've heard, it seems like he looks pretty good. So bummed about Kupp. How long are they saying? Like, what's the update?
High ankle sprain, so my guess is a couple weeks.
Ugh, those are bad. Oh, it sucks. Okay. Yeah, that's tough. I'd probably, I don't know.
What do you think of those others? I forgot to ask you. Bucks, Colts.
What was the spread?
Buccaneers plus 2.5.
I'd probably go Bucks.
Yeah, okay. So we agree there. We talked about the Texans and the Jaguars.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy that we could be betting that game and having the better quarterback with the Texans? Imagine I said that at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, people would look at you like you had 18 heads. Like, that's insane.
Browns, Broncos. I don't know.
Wait, what's the spread there?
Broncos -2.5 at home.
I like the Broncos, actually.
Yeah, let's make the Broncos gut that one out.
Yeah, they're finding a way to win.
Now talk to me.
Here we go.
There's already rolling his eyes.
Oh, God.
A coach takes over. 3-0 against the spread, facing a division rival. Can we do it? Can we take the Raiders?
No.
All right.
No chance I'm betting the Raiders with the Chiefs coming off a loss. And they've been known to pound the absolute shit out of the Raiders.
I was going to say, as bad as the Chiefs have looked in the
I could have made a joke there, but it might have been considered either racist or just frowned upon. So I'll save it for after the show.
All right. Yeah. Hopefully I remember that. All right. What'd you say, Meg? I know you want to join me, right?
On the Raiders?
You're not afraid of no ghost, right, Meg?
I mean, I'm not, but spread. No, I don't think I can join you here. What's
unbelievable?
I can't back.
Chiefs ain't scored a single point in the second half in like 5 weeks.
Yeah,
they dropped like 50 in the second half on Sunday.
Not against our tough defense, led by a linebacker from Compton.
Yeah.
All right. Bills Eagles, biggest game of the week, Tyler. We got to talk about it.
Yeah, but that's what I want you to get to the next game so you can try and talk me into betting this idiot that's playing quarterback for Buffalo when he's about to get smashed by Philly.
Ooh.
Really? You think Philly just crushes
we just
here,
talked about the Eagles being a little bit. I mean, that was not.
But let's talk about the Bills for a second, Meg. Their defense is Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
They can't stop anyone. They're missing so many bodies on that defense. The bodies that are supposed to step up and be in place for the hurt bodies were getting taken out in ambulances last week. So their secondary's cooked. If they win this game, it's going to be them having to just pour in points and outscore the Eagles. They're not winning the trench battle. This is just another game the Eagles just kind of walk out on their field, do what they want.
And win by one score. And Josh Allen accidentally steps out of bounds or screws up at the last minute.
Josh Allen throws one of his stupid interceptions that he does every week, and then everyone.
Well, but then do we like the spread at 3.5 though?
Yeah, I'm on the Eagles.
I'm on the Bills, but I'm always on the team against the Eagles. So you can't have a more.
Tell me how this guy's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's going to lead them to a victory. He's not going to.
I mean, he is. I mean, you just act like. I mean, you act like it's. There's not that many good quarterbacks in the league.
We've
so
talked
it's not
about
hard
that.
to be the best.
It's not hard to be the best in the current state of the league.
I mean, the best quarterback is going to house your team for like 40 points. And his name's not Josh Allen, spread.
Okay, we all agree who number one is.
Josh Allen damn sure ain't number 2.
And we all agree who number 27 is. And wait till you see what he does this week, Tyler.
I mean, projections looking on the spread, they agree with me here, Eagles.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I mean, a lot of this Bills is just the mystique. And like, what'd you say? The one joke you always use, Tyler? Whoever has become elite just by losing to Patrick Mahomes in the championship game.
And like, all of a sudden, they beat the Jets that couldn't score on offense whatsoever, and they're back. You know what I mean? Like, that's all they've done since they've lost that game to Denver and a couple games before that. They beat a Jets team that sucks, let's be honest. Their defense has got good pieces, but they're on the field 90% of the game. So by halfway through the second quarter, those guys are dead tired. They've done nothing. The Eagles team
rotation agrees with you, Tyler.
Yeah, the Eagles just played possibly one of the best teams in the league, maybe the best team in the league. They walked in their stadium and beat them. It's the Eagles this week, and they're at home, and they're gonna lay a smackdown on the Bills.
I can't wait for 2 weeks when the 49ers beat the shit out of the Eagles. I hope at least
they're gonna break Brock Purdy's arm again.
Well, they had so much talk after that game about like we didn't have a quarterback, and I'm like, okay, now we get to see. Let's go! I can't wait. I know it's two different teams, but still. Anyways,
Meg, do you like the Eagles in that? Oh no, you already said you like the Bills because you're an Eagles hater.
Yes. I'm not impressed with the Eagles offense right now.
Tyler, how did I get here on this Josh Allen deal? Do you remember when I used to slander him back on Kegg's show? And that guy, Cheese, used to always get mad at me. And then you know how you victory lap that 49ers Jaguars pick for like hell long? He kept victory lapping that Josh Allen over me.
Yeah.
Like I could be talking about anything. I could be breaking down an NBA game and he'd be like, but Josh Allen's not a good quarterback in the chat, right? I mean, it was like crazy, right? And now I'm the Josh Allen truther. Like, how did this happen?
I don't know if you played him in fantasy at some point and he won you some money. If you went and played Madden and you won the game against your buddy with him or some shit, but I don't get it. I don't know what you see. I figured you would see that he's a physical specimen. He throws the ball really hard, but like his football IQ is terrible.
I'm interested to see what happens long term. You can't take a 1-game sample size with Joe Brady, so I'm interested to see what happens long term.
Oh yeah, your DC or your OC is gonna hook him up.
If anybody,
I'm a big OC quarterback. Like, is a huge.
Well,
deal.
Tyler likes Brady too.
I mean, Brady was the guy that was the OC for LSU's team with all those guys. So,
right. So like, I want to wait and see what this, because we saw how he was with Dable.
Fix him, this is the guy.
Yep.
If this guy can't fix him, I don't ever want to hear this guy's like cream of the crop again.
Tyler,
right, what else do you got?
I think that's about it. I mean, I guess we could play Baltimore now. Do we think that line moves?
Yeah, I mean, probably stays right where it's at, I think. 3.5.
Then let's do the rest of these on Friday. So is there anything we need to bet right now, Tyler? I'm saying Texans.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah.
They're going to be a popular bet, too. That's the only thing I'm worried about is they're going to be public central on Sunday.
So we should bet it now, though.
Right.
Because the line's going to move.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
I don't care about what people are betting. I just care about beating the line.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not like fade the public. Like this dude in line in Reno was hella drunk trying to explain to me about fading the public and trying to.
I think it only works in certain spots.
It only works when you add the line move.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like for example, on the Cardinals last week. Oh, well, everyone bet the Texans. Well, yeah, but you bet it at 6. That's how you fading the public work. The guy that bet it at 4 at the beginning of the week won.
Right.
Yeah. Like my whole thing about quote unquote fading the public when it comes to betting, I do it mostly in MMA. Like if I watch a line go and flip from like favorite to underdog, and it's just getting driven just down, down, and down. Like there was a guy a couple months ago. He was even money to start the week, and by the time Saturday rolled around, he was minus 190. That guy went out there and lost. So it's like everyone pounded that line. Every MMA podcast you listen to, everyone was on this guy. Everyone just bet him, and he lost. So that's some ways I would fade the public. I don't do it with NFL as much.
Yeah,
because it's just you're still doing points and everything. Like fighting's a little different.
Yeah. Do we bet the Buccaneers right now?
I don't see that line moving. I mean, it might move a slight bit because of the Shaq Leonard news, but that might already be in there.
All right. Okay, that's it for me.
Okay. Well, guys, we have covered an hour and a half of every debate possible. We covered Thanksgiving slate. We covered every piece of the Thanksgiving slate. Again, spreads, totals, teasers, props, touchdowns, parlays, and we gave you an early week 12 look at what these guys are thinking. Jump on that Texans lines now, but be sure to go back to fanspeak.com, check out the NFL betting card, check it out Thursday for Thursday bets, check it out Saturday for the full Sunday slate. All these guys' bets are props and touchdowns. Be sure to check that out on at fanspeak.com. And then where you guys are going to be on Nuke the House on Friday then?
Yeah, that's the plan, right, Tyler?
Okay, then check them out on Nuke the House then on Friday as well. But we thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you. Hit the like button on the way out. And again, check fanspeak.com for that final betting card for everything. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. For Spread, for Tyler, I'm Meg. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we will see you next time.